Hello, and welcome to day three of our Body Back in Balance Summit. I'm super excited to be here with you tonight. Tonight is the night we kind of pull it all together and help you really decide to step into momentum and ongoing consistency. What is it going to take to help increase your capacity so that you can have that ongoing sustained increase in energy, mood, fix your metabolism, all of these things without GLP-1s or extremes that are going to completely throw your world upside down. We've been talking about some of the key concepts here. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in and get started. I'm super honored and excited to be here with you tonight. So thank you for tuning in. And if you're going to be listening to or watching the replay later, then I'm sure you're going to be getting some really good momentum and energy. And yes, so as we kick off, like I said, we are already in day three. It's gone fast this week. I like to go back and review where we started, right? Monday was all about calm first and then heal. And the objective for Monday, the takeaway was to help you to understand a missing link that often functional medicine and conventional medicine overlook. And this is the balance of our nervous system, because our nervous system is really at the core of what's regulating and signaling to the rest of the body about the status of our world. Do we live in a calm, abundant, you know, um, nurturing and caring world and status, or is there some kind of danger, toxin, threat, something that we need to be mindful of and hypervigilant around, right? So this idea that in order to create sustainable health and vitality, we have to find this balance in our nervous system because you can't supplement your way or diet your way out of a dysregulated nervous system. And then Tuesday, we talked about hormone integration. And this is the idea of taking all of these different components of the three-part framework that we're going to be, connecting the dots of what to maximize, what to minimize, and what to prioritize for your specific body now, where it is today at this season of your life, and how to put those dots all together. Like instead of having a disjointed puzzle piece, we want to put them together so that we can understand the flow and really decipher where our energy and where our focus is funneled and channeled into. This is the hormone integration piece that is often missing when we have, disjointed, scattered recommendations or diets or supplements or medications or different ideas about what we should or shouldn't be doing with our health. And then today, Wednesday, day three, is where we are going to be talking about expanding your capacity. How can you build a body that can hold more energy, more confidence, and peace for the long term? This is not about a quick fix, it's about really changing the trajectory of your health. And as you recall, we have the replays available. They go out via email, and you can also check out if you prefer to listen on the go or listen while you're making dinner or listen while you're doing a walk. You can always catch these on the podcast. I know that's very accessible for a lot of people. They tell me, like, oh, it's so much easier to be able to listen to this information and really take it in that way. So you can definitely check out the podcast there. You can tune into the replay for the next 7 days. That will be available until next week on Tuesday evening. And again, as a reminder, calm first. This is Monday. Remember that all sustainable healing and vitality happens in an environment of balance when there is the physiological, the emotional, and spiritual balance. This is when our nervous system really is stable and grounded. And that's when true health and vitality lasts. So, starting off, we helped you to identify where or how, what the kind of the pattern of imbalance or dysregulation may look like for you. Remember yesterday I shared this energy quiz. In fact, I will go ahead and put that link into the chat one more time today. So if you're listening, you can tune in and check out that energy quiz if you have not yet taken the quiz. This is a great chance to kind of find out, are you in that place of overachiever with likely high cortisol running on survival mode, right? Wired but tired with that additional belly fat that tends to kind of center around the midsection. Maybe difficulty sleeping. It sounds like your mind can't shut off those ruminating thoughts. And then that leads to afternoon crashes and cravings for salty foods. That's the overachiever profile. Then we looked at the nurture profile. This is where you're running on empty, really low energy, feeling depleted. Often that it comes with low protein, micronutrient deficiencies where you're not getting enough nutrients in and they're not being absorbed by the cells. Mood dips, hair thinning, these are different things that can look like for somebody who is often really drained. They're giving too much of themselves and not having that nourishment that the body can feel rejuvenated and stored up. Then we have the analyzer profile. This is where you have a lot of mental fatigue, right? Brain fog, analysis paralysis, anxiety loops. It can also lead to decision fatigue, looking for sugar. Usually there's sugar cravings that go high with this because there's a dopamine dip, really low dopamine levels, and that throws off our mood in a big way. So the nervous system freeze and neurotransmitter depletion is really at the root cause here. And then we have the seeker, right? This profile is one of kind of inconsistency where there's a lot of ups and downs and changes in your schedule, maybe starting strong, but then falling off. Your hormones are on this roller coaster and you can experience weight fluctuations, mood swings, high stress. GI symptoms often go hand in hand with this and irregular routines. This is like switching back and forth between sympathetic, parasympathetic with no steady baseline. So these are different things and getting a sense when you do this energy assessment, with this energy quiz, you can really help to see all the different areas that affect our mood, our metabolism, and our energy and how they show up in imbalance in the nervous system. And then we like to bring it back to this like simple formula. And it's about optimal health. We don't have to overcomplicate it. We want to focus on what are we maximizing for your unique body, right? Maximizing things that are needed to be put into your body every day. So these are, like the raw materials, right? These are things like the oxygen and the water and the vitamins and the minerals and the antioxidants. These are the proteins, the healthy fats. These are the things that your body needs every day in order to be able to function at a high level. Then the second step is to minimize. What do we want to take out? Specifically, we need to remove some things that are harmful for your body. Things like toxins or infections or allergens or stress. Stress can be a big one. Trauma, limiting beliefs. Sometimes it's negative relationships. Like I said, for many years, I had a really poor negative relationship with time because I was just always under this like belief system that I don't have enough time, I don't have enough, and I was just operating. Even if you listen to the way I describe my days, I'd always be like, oh, I have to, I hurry, and I'd be rushing my daughters and feeling like I didn't have enough time. But that actually wasn't the reality of the situation. The reality is I hadn't had clear boundaries and clear parameters around the things that were most important to me, and then really honed in and focused on what gets to be put on the priority list with my focus, with my intention, and what needs to be taken off. A lot of times we kind of just get swept up in our world and what's around us and the relationships and the people and the situations and the work and the different things that are around us that we haven't really stopped to check in of what is your priority and what is your value system in life to help. I just kind of got off on a tangent, but that's really having negative relationships like mine was with time for many years can have a negative impact on our nervous system and affect our body's ability to calm first and then heal. And then that third part of this 3-step process that we talked about in day 2 is the prioritize. What are the things that need to be prioritized? Maybe in a new way, or maybe just in a slight adjustment to how you have been prioritizing it, right? Thinking about creating an environment for healing. How are we going to have your nervous system become more balanced? Do you need to create more safety by releasing some past negative trauma and experience? Do you need to have more sleep or more laughter and more joy and more fun and connection, right? It's a matter of moving your body, exercising, stretching, breathing, having those meaningful relationships, people that you connect with. And loneliness is one of the number one deterrents of health long term. So having regular interactions and connections, especially as females, I saw some statistic. This was about 2 months ago. I forget, I'm not going to quote it right, so I don't remember exactly, but it was something like we as women are wired for connection and community. And it's more important to have some good close girlfriends or friends that you are connecting with at least every 2 weeks, even that can have a more impact than even like a significant other, a marriage. Obviously, if you have a partner in your relationship, in your marriage, or in your life, they play a huge role. But for women specifically, having those strong other female friendship type connections is a huge requirement for our health and our vitality. So thinking about what are we prioritizing, right? How are we prioritizing things so that our body can heal itself? It will naturally seek wellness when we do these three things: maximize what our body needs, minimize the things that are detrimental, and prioritize for where your life is now. And then today, day 3 is about expanding your capacity. So it's time to sustain what you've started, kind of getting some of these ideas, what you've learned, with some things that you've maybe taken away or some new inspiration that you have, but how can we put that into practice and repeat it? Tony Robbins used to always say repetition is the mother of all skill. In order to have a skill, we need to be able to do something and do it again and again and again and again and repeat it. That's the same thing with the nervous system. I talk about this often in my Thyroid Hormone Solution book that I wrote last year as a best-selling book. And we talk a lot about how you can't fake out your nervous system. You can't just start to, choose nutrient-dense foods and eat and sit down when you're present, like calm state and enjoying your food, and do that for a week or two, and then go back to eating on the go, kind of picking on food and not really choosing healthy options. Your nervous system is like going to say like, is this legit? Like, is she sticking with this? Can I actually trust that I'm going to continue to get what I need from a nutrient perspective? Or is this going to be kind of a phase and then we're going to fall off again, right? You can't fake out your nervous system. You can't out supplement your way out of a dysregulated nervous system. So when we want to think about what do we need to do to sustain this is what it comes down. Why I can't hold on to my results. A lot of times there's rebound fatigue, emotional crashes after success. So you may get some traction. You may start to feel better. Maybe you got a couple nights of good solid sleep, or you're no longer having those hot flashes, or maybe you saw the scale change a few pounds and you're feeling inspired and feel good. But then oftentimes we have those crashes after we have success and we fall back into old patterns. So this is what we're talking about today, is like what gets to shift. How can we really expand our capacity? What is capacity? Capacity is your ability to hold energy, peace, joy, confidence, those positive emotional states more consistently in your life. Because when you can maintain that positive emotional state, as we showed yesterday, emotions precede our thoughts and our expectations, which then precede our choices and our actions, the actions that we take. Am I going to go to bed at a reasonable hour so that I can unwind and get a good night's sleep and maybe turn off the devices, turn off the TV, turn off the blue light? Or do I just feel like overwhelmed and I just want to veg out and check out, right? Our choices and our actions tie back earlier to what are our emotions. And when we have that capacity to more minutes of the day experience acceptance, joy, peace, confidence, clarity, that is what capacity is all about. Giving you that capacity to experience those positive emotions more consistently. And so I come back here and I ask the question, like when you're looking at your health transformation journey, where are you in this pathway right now? We looked at this yesterday a little bit. And for those of you that will be listening on audio, I can describe it as a visual that has kind of like an up and a down curve to the pathway. Usually we start in a place of frustration and self-criticism or even fear. We're worried about something. Maybe we had a recent diagnosis or a recent scare, like many of my clients. Then you move into a place of readiness. Okay, like I want to take action. I want to do something. I want to improve this. I want to fix this. So there's like some interest, some focus, some readiness, and that feels good. That energy is uplifting. And then oftentimes it's like, okay, I've been trying these things. Maybe I've been trying a new meal plan and trying to change my food, or get out and do some more exercise and can get up and consistently move. Or maybe I'm changing and really looking at the stressful relationships in my life and kind of putting up some loving boundaries around that. But I don't necessarily have everything all figured out and everything completely fixed. I don't feel suddenly everything is solved with my health. So we start to feel it's not working. We get angry and upset because there's attachment to the outcome. Like, how come this didn't solve my insomnia? Or how come this didn't make the number on the scale go to where I want it to be? Right. So we have attachment. We want to control the process and control the outcome. And it doesn't feel like it's working fast enough or good enough or something's still missing. So then we can maybe step out of that. We want to toggle into the next phase of feeling curious, like, huh, I wonder why that didn't work, or I wonder what perhaps could work better next time. And then there's a little bit of energy that comes back. You feel inspired. Maybe you have some new information, new pieces of the puzzle that we talked about, right? Some of the hormone integration pieces that you hadn't considered before. And then that may lead to the next dip where there's some disappointment, some fatigue, some frustration. And eventually we get to this place of acceptance and creativity. We recognize that life is never going to be a straight line. It's never going to be feeling fantastic 100% of the time, but you feel good steadily and frequently enough that you have this acceptance and you have this creativity to respond and to listen to your body. You actually have reverence and respect and a willingness to adjust and adapt to what your physical body and emotional body and spiritual body is signaling to you that it needs. And when you actually let that be the leader and the cues and the clues, your body is innately intelligent. And when you're so in line and in touch with your body that you're actually willing and respectful and tuning in, this is where you have that sustainability, right? So this is possible. I always want to like leave some real life examples. Like, this is not just like in theory. Like Amy came to me when she had been really, really frustrated and disempowered. She had been stuck in her health. She's like, I literally, it's been over 2 decades where I feel like my life is really, really busy. She's running a business, had 3 kids, 2 in college, 1 in high school, battling weight loss, like I said, for over 20 years. She kind of just was like, I was a heavier kid. I feel like maybe it's just in my family genes. I'm just kind of always built this way. I don't even know if it's possible for me to have a different shape and more energy and avoid the kind of fate that many family members before her had progressed to diabetes. And she was really leery and hesitant and worried about that. She felt like she had tried everything. She was never able to create this sustainable change. And she didn't have the capacity to do diets or exercise because of the demanding schedule with her kids and her work and things like that. She was ready to give up when we first started to connect. And this was when it was like, Amy, let's take this down. Let's break this down, give you some information, give you a roadmap that you can execute on. Yeah, it's going to require to do some things different. Obviously, if you want some different results, we have to change some inputs. But let's create a plan that's going to be sustainable for you, that's going to energize you and give you the tools and resources. And within a matter of several months, 5 months, she had a radical transformation. She was more energy. She actually launched and started her next business. She was empowered to make different exercise and nutrition choices. She really like stepped into this identity of like, well, this new version of me doesn't make the same choices and decisions that I used to do before. And it led to a weight loss of 50 pounds. Like, she completely transformed who she was on the inside, and it was reflected of who she became on the outside. But this is, again, it's possible when you take this integrated method, make it simple. What do I need to maximize, minimize, and prioritize for my body at this situation, at this stage of life? And then have a process of accountability and inspiration to keep that going. And it's not just weight loss. Another client found a lump in her breast and was really terrified. She was scheduled for surgery, and that is uh, definitely can be a traumatic fear and experience, right? She was riddled with fear and she wanted to take control of her life and take back control of her body. So we started working together. We started looking at this root cause approach to really understand not only, what does her body need from a nutrient perspective in her specific situation. The hormone levels were just holding on. She had estrogen dominance. We could see that in some of her lab work. And um, she was not able to like properly excrete hormones. So when we looked at what her body needed, for her, what she needed, she had some like overload buildup of hormones. So what her body needed was some very key targeted nutrients and support. And so this was not just about weight loss, not like Amy who lost 50 pounds, right? For her, it was really about, she did lose some weight, but it was really about, I want to feel empowered in my health. Her lump disappeared. She avoided surgery. She sidestepped the pain and the agony of going through a lumpectomy. And talk about a sense of like personal empowerment when you can literally see physiological change in your body because of the choices and the things, the actions that you've decided to put into practice. Right. She's like, and this is a message from her. Like, I've tried so many other nutrition plans before, always felt off. This was different. I'm putting into practice actions to improve my health and have seen amazing results. I had follow up with my appointment. The lump is smaller, no surgery needed. I'm so grateful for you. She's like, I just want to say thank you so much for your tools and support. I learned what foods work for my body and discovered what was causing my estrogen dominance and breast fibroids and weight gain. So, like, it's putting the pieces of the puzzle, right? And having clarity, having a plan that's tailored to your body can really be a game changer. So that's what we're talking about today is how to sustain this capacity. And oftentimes what you really need is a new room. It sounds kind of weird to think about, but our environment shapes our outcome. When we think about what we want to be different in our health, it's what is the environment that we're surrounding ourselves with? What are the inputs? What are the inspiration, the messages, the game plan, the conversations? Support amplifies your consistency. Attention amplifies your consistency. So where are you putting your attention? What type of support, encouragement, inspiration, knowledge, tools do you have around you to support your health goals? Right? If you think about what outcome, what goals you want to experience with your health, what type of environment are you putting around yourself? What type of room are you in? Are you in a room that's even having this conversation? Right? Loving accountability sustains that momentum. And that's a key thing when we talk about, again, building capacity for nervous system balance in the long run. It comes down to what do I have around me to support this repetition? Because repetition is the mother of all skills. So when we think about, are you ready for your personalized path? Right? It's really up to you to know like what does my body need now? How can I have this clarity? How can I have this game plan, this step-by-step momentum? And I want you to know, first of all, it's never too late. You're right on time. You're here because your body is asking for a new story. And that's always really important to recognize is like, what is your new story? And this is where I like to actually guide us through a visualization. So I'm gonna jump back over here to myself now so that you can see me and invite you to settle in if you're hopefully somewhere where you can close your eyes. I find that that's a helpful, or you can take a soft gaze, and we're gonna just do a little guided visualization. So it's helpful to see where your health and where your life is going to be. Like, we can't go somewhere, we can't get to a destination if we don't know where we're going, right? It's kind of like if I get in the car and start driving west, but I want to end up in San Francisco and I just start driving, I may or may not end up there. The more clear and specific I am about where I want to go, where the destination is, the greater the chance of achieving that and actually ending up at that destination here, right? So we want to think about what does, so this is where I'm gonna lead you through a visualization to kind of clarify some of the little nuggets and some of the pearls about what is important when you think about your future health and how that changes certain aspects in your life. So feel free to go ahead and close your eyes. Maybe even take your shoulders, roll them back a few times, loosen up through the neck. I think it's always good to like get into our body and just start to take some deep breaths, breathing in. Exhale nice and slow. Let's do that 3 more times. Notice this is things that we often don't do for ourselves, but just stopping to breathe is balancing the nervous system. So expand the heart, breathe in through your chest. As you exhale, your shoulders to soften, maybe settle into your sit bones a little bit more firmly. Just notice any sensation or tension in the body. And just keep breathing those deep, slow breaths. Now, as you continue to breathe at your own natural pace, I invite you to imagine that we have just fast forward several months and it's now July of 2026. So next summer. And you're tuning in, you're thinking about your life. So July 2026. And just imagine where you're waking up. You're waking up, it's a beautiful day. And take notice of where are you when you wake up? What do you feel? Just think about where you're located, who's around you. What do you hear? Who do you see? Or what do you see? And now you're getting up out of bed, going through your ideal day. Think about the first hour of your ideal day. It's the summer. What are you doing? How are you feeling in your body? What type of nourishment are you choosing? What do you notice about the smells and the sounds in your environment around you? As you think about what's about to happen for your day, how does that make you feel? Who are you going to connect with or see? And moving throughout the next part of your morning, and just taking notice of how you feel in your body, what you're planning to do, where you are. Are you going anywhere? Are you in the car? Are you at home? Who are you with? Just let your imagination inform where you're going. And what is your agenda for today? What's on tap? What do you notice about your healthy habits and routines? Is there any distinction, anything different about your food choices, how you're eating, where you are? Anything has changed about perhaps any supplements or exercise or movements? What do you do to build in some healthy nervous system reset breaks to kind of check in with yourself and touch base, get in tune with your body and take note? Who are you with? And what do you see in this enjoyable day? Now, later in the afternoon, as your day is progressing, thinking about how you feel. What is the afternoon experience like for you? Emotionally, how do you feel? Physically, what's happening in your body? What are you doing? And who are you with? How does your health and energy and vitality impact what happens next in the evening? What are you excited to do next as you transition into the evening? Where are you? What do you see? What do you smell? What are you doing? And how do you feel? And as you prepare to close the day, what is that kind of nightcap routine for you? Where are you? What do you notice? What do you see? And who are you with? What are you doing? And then you peacefully drift off to sleep. All right, you can come back. I always find that doing those visualization exercises and really just tapping into the sensory experience of who are you with? What is your environment like around you? What are you choosing to do? What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? It's actually very insightful. Little clues drop in as you think about what has shifted, what has changed in that experience. What is that, 8 months from now? Obviously, the season may be different if it's July compared to November. But other than that, what else is different about your health, your physical health and day-to-day behavior, choices, feelings, emotions, patterns, routines? Thinking about that. I hope you got some good insights. And I would invite you to like lock it in, even maybe journal. This is where really taking that to kind of put that and capture that is so powerful because that is your guiding light. It really is an opportunity to tune into what is most important to you. What is your soul trying to reveal to you of like, hey, this is where we're headed. This is what gets to happen. This is what's possible when you think about that ideal day. And then it's just a matter of like almost reverse engineering of like, oh, okay, what was different from where my typical day is now? And how can I reverse engineer to move in that direction? So I always like to kind of guide us through that. Let's circle back. And again, just this reminder that amazing transformation is possible and then it can even become predictable. This is what happens time and time again. And this is a woman, Kathy. When I worked with her, she was turning 60 and she's like, I just know that this is the year before I hit my 60th birthday. I am ready to like revamp my health because it's been on the decline since about age 45. And every year it's just getting like more and more depleted. So part of it is looking at what's actually going on in her body, right? Putting those puzzle pieces together. And when we tested her hormones, she definitely was very, very low in testosterone. And so she had really low energy, really low stamina, very hard to focus mentally. And of course, some other components with nutrients that were not very present in her routine and her food choices. She often skipped breakfast and different things like that. So we looked at what was the combination of factors in her situation and her life and her body, what she needed, what were the puzzle pieces that were going to move the needle, what did she need to maximize, what do we prioritize or minimize, and what do we prioritize, and adjusted her support so that she could have more hormone support, different type of exercise and movement rhythm. She definitely leaned into some of the nervous system practices to help reset her nervous system to feel more calm and centered and grounded in her business. She's a business owner and had a team and was kind of going through a lot of transition. So there was definitely avenues for stress, but it was creating a new relationship with how she related to what was happening in her business that shifted her nervous system. She then totally shifted. Now she feels energized again, is back to working out, and was at her lowest weight in many years and feels amazing. So again, I just like to share what's possible. And I'll reiterate this invitation if it speaks to you. The Body Back in Balance 30-day makeover is open now. It's something that I'm doing for the end of the year. I've never done it at this price. Normally it's $997. It's a $497 special. And it includes a bonus month of January. So we start December 1st. Not only do you get all of the support for the month of December, you will also get the month of January as a free add-on bonus month. And this is going to be the strategy, the support, the personalization that you have been craving. So it's really a chance to get into a container and have me as your guide to help surround you with clarity, inspiration, momentum, focus, so that you can really move the needle and change in your health. like I said, this is receiving the clarity about what your body needs to increase energy, fix your metabolism, and end the confusion and guilt shame pattern. So you can restore confidence in your body. Together, we're going to use that hormone integration plan that we talked about yesterday, is putting these different puzzle pieces together, given the pretty extensive inputs from your energy quiz. So if you haven't yet done the energy quiz, that's, like I said, it takes about 10 minutes to do. I'll put that link in the chat again one more time. But this energy quiz is your chance to really, we kind of put the puzzle pieces together to see what's going on in your body. And you have direct access to me, so you can get your health data plus your daily lifestyle patterns woven into one clear plan. Now, the result for the 30-day experience is you have time-saving, clear action steps to create that harmony in your body, that balance. You have confidence in what works uniquely for you. I literally just had a conversation with a client today, Dana, and she was sharing, she's like, holy cow. She's like, I just met with my OB-GYN. She's like, I love her. She's new and she was helpful and she was definitely informed. She's like, but being able to meet with you, you put it all together. Like, she had so much more clarity, and really talking for her, we're working through some gut healing that she has going on right now. And she's like, it's so different when I really can understand and grasp what's going on in my body, and I can see it in the data and I know what it needs. I'm so much more compelled to understand a couple of supplements that are useful for me, and understand why making these adjustments into my food matters, because now it makes sense. And I see the impact that this is having on, for her particular, was in her liver and in her pancreatic enzymes. It was causing a lot of imbalance with insulin resistance and hormone imbalance. So, but I guess what I'm saying is, having that time, that space to really customize and understand it is a huge needle mover to help move past obstacles that often derail and distract you from healthy choices. You see real evidence of change in your unwanted symptoms, and maximize progress by reducing overwhelm and disengagement in your health. I don't know about you, but that's a big problem for me in the past, is like, when I know that there's something that I've wanted to change, even with my autoimmune diagnosis, at first it was like, I know that I want to heal this. And I went to a naturopathic doctor, but it was massively overwhelming. It wasn't broken down and helped to like kind of explain and walk me through it. It was just like, here's the 12 supplements to take. Here's all the foods to eliminate. Come back and see me in 3 months. Like, it was overwhelming to try and execute that successfully. So maximize your progress by reducing that overwhelm and disengagement, and end the year feeling more energized, confident, and excited about your health. That's what's possible. So what you get inside the 30-day makeover is you get your customized hormone integration roadmap. So you'll walk away with a clear, personalized plan, personal live coaching with me. So we have an in-depth one-on-one session to review your roadmap and get you set up for success. And then 3 SOS calls. These are calls with me. So it's like, as we kind of check in, keep that accountability. And also, when you get stuck or when things are hard and you're maybe like coming up with a challenge, it's like, this is your chance to get real-time coaching, feedback, and adjustments. This allows you to feel seen, guided, supported, not just educated. And focus and inspiration each week. I have the private podcast, and it's only for clients and members that continue. So you're going to get me in your ear, giving you great little nuggets of inspiration and focus and clarity to keep that momentum going every single week. In addition, there's some bonuses that I'm throwing in just because it's Black Friday, like holiday season. So you get the balanced hormone friendly meal guide. This is my 10-minute thyroid and hormone balancing AI powered meal makeover. It really, not only does it give you recipes and like make it streamlined, it's actually more targeted to like, what is the number one obstacle for you when it comes to having consistent healthy meals? Is it like, I don't have time to grocery shop? Is it, I hate prepping food, I really don't like a lot of foods? It helps you to like work around the biggest obstacle specifically so that you can make this easier. In addition, we have the nervous system reset toolkit. So this is where I get to customize based on kind of your own intake and kind of where your body is. We customize what nervous system support and balance tools are going to be most effective for you. And then the last bonus is the month of January is included as a bonus for a whole extra month. So really it's 2 months for the investment of 1 month today. So I always like to say, I like people to feel good. And this Body Back in Balance 30-day makeover experience, this program comes with a guarantee that you'll walk away with the plan to follow to achieve your health goals, or I'll work with you until you do. I guide from lived experience. Like I tell the truth of transformation. It does require change. Obviously, if you want to feel different, we have to do some things different, but it's absolutely possible. And I've walked this journey. I'm here. I've helped hundreds of other women, and I'm here to lead you through your transformation too. So I haven't put it in the chat, but if this is something you are interested and ready to do, I'm going to pop into the chat. This is the link where you can sign up and read more, any more information for the Body Back in Balance 30-day makeover experience. And you enrollment, like I said, enrollment is open through the end. We start December 1st, so it's open through the end of the month, and these replays and everything will be up for the next 7 days. So you can always go back, listen to it again, hear things over again. If there's something that you have a question about, feel free to email me, let me know. But this is something that I definitely, if you're ready and you want to create that expanded capacity, you want things to shift and be able to have more calm, more ease, more consistency with how you approach your health, this is that stepping stone for you. This is going to help streamline, clarify, and really give you that support and momentum to go into 2026 feeling better, even better than you do right now. Just think in a short month, a lot can shift and change. So I want to welcome you and encourage you, if you feel inspired and connected and engaged, that this is definitely an opportunity to partner together, and it'd be my honor to support you. And that's all for our session tonight. I'm happy to answer any questions or any thoughts. Does anyone have any questions or anything that I can help offer for you tonight?
Amanda, is the offer, so it's just from now till the end of the month and it starts December? My only hesitation is I have so many holiday things that I feel like I might not be able to stay on the wagon or, like with eating wise and stuff like that. So,
Yes, you're talking about for the month of December in particular?
yeah, I'm probably looking more in 26. So just wondering if there's flexibility with the deal or, we could talk offline about it, obviously, but
Yes.
I was just curious because I already have like my weekends booked and one of my daughter's birthday, just everything, life. So just curious.
Totally, totally. I hear you. Yes. In fact, there is, and we can definitely talk offline, but that is why I added in January. And so really it's usually a 30-day experience, but then you kind of get a little bit of like, you can look at it as like you can get a little legwork, a little head start just to kind of plant some seeds, even if it's not necessarily like you're totally executing or implementing everything in December, but you kind of like have a game plan of like what's going to help me to shift, and then really you get all of January support too. So that's why I did it that way, because for a lot of
Sure. Yeah,
people,
that makes sense. Okay. So there won't be any penalties if I don't start until 26 or not penalties, but that would be
yeah,
okay or
totally, totally, yeah. And if you want, so Linda, because you depending on what your schedule is, you could either schedule kind of your initial deep dive like hormone integration session with me in December, so that you kind of have a like I said, an idea of what's coming. Or if you're like, I don't even want to think about it, you could even wait and schedule that early January, and then
okay.
you have it for the whole month of January. It really is like that. That session is kind of like, okay, this is the piece to kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together to see where I'm going, and then
Uh-huh.
from there to build. So you could do it either way.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Actually, I think it's a really good idea. It's an opportunity to have reinforcement to keep getting back on track during the holiday season,
Yeah.
because we all know there's likely to be a problem at some point.
Well, this is a month that it's a convolution or like a combining of a lot of things for many people in December, because there's tends to be more social events and functions and gatherings and different food choices and all of that stuff, which can be really joyful and really great. It also is a season of a lot of family dynamics and tensions that can be heightened stressors for many people. For some people, they have a lot of work deadlines and extra workload to kind of get in before the end of the year. So December tends to be kind of a month that like a lot of things come to a head that really can impact our health. So part of the reason why I wanted to start this in December, knowing that nothing is going to be executed at an optimal level for most people because this is a time where there is a lot of variable. But if you start to think about with my life having all of these variables now, I'm starting to even plant the seed about what would some of these shifts look like? Not saying I'm executing them effectively, but at least I'm thinking about what that would look like. So next December, it's a whole different ballgame. And it kind of, like you said, Joanne, it kind of keeps you in a place of likely where you're not going to slide back as far as you would if you were just like, everything's out the window, I'll start in January type of a thing.
I have one other wise guy question. You keep talking about women in their 40s and 50s. I'm 65 now.
Yeah.
Am I just too old for this?
No, Joanne, that's literally, I work with most women who are in their 40s and 50s, and I would say early 60s, but I've worked with women through their 70s. So it really depends. To me, there's always ways to refine and hone in on what you're doing to support your health. And if it's something you're like, hey, there's areas that I want to improve, I think that's great. It's like we now live in our world where the quality of life is extended longer and longer and longer. And the more that you are intentional and deliberate about your choices, the longer you're going to have quality life span. Not necessarily, lifespan total. I'm talking quality life where you're
Right.
able to have energy and engage and do things. So yeah, absolutely. 65 is not too old.
Yeah, actually, I work with women in their 80s right now, and I've been working with them for a long time. So I've watched the decline, and it's like, okay, here's a warning for you. Get on track now.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Absolutely. Well, any other questions, ladies?
I think I'm good.
I'm good too. Thank you so much, Amanda.
My
Yes, thank
pleasure.
you.
Great to see you. Have a great night.
You
Thank you.
too.
You
Bye bye.
too.
Bye.
Bye.